just got the last bug worked out this afternoon. It's police.sandyspringsga.org. Police.sandyspringsga.org. Now, it's in its infancy, but what you'll notice is that it operates very similar, almost identical to the way the city's website works. And you'll note that it's got a nice flow and feel to it, but we don't have a lot of information in it yet because today we just turned it on. And so you may see a few grammatical errors. We're going to get those straightened out in the next week or so. But we're kind of letting you have a sneak peek at it. Got any suggestions, let us know, and we'll work on that. And so with all of that, I'm going to turn it back over to Karen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Officer Burrell. Thank you, Mr. Ashley, for joining us this evening. He's your elected official from Fulton County. So
my boss is elected. I am not elected.
Okay, all right. You're the real deal.
I'm just happy to be here.
Did I recall seeing something that we had a recent conviction for some burglars from last year? Is that right?
Yes.
You want to tell us real quickly, just so we can get the whole cycle from the arrest to conviction?
Y'all want to hear a war story?
Yeah.
Is Betty Turner here tonight? I'm sorry, I'm not going to use this. I'll blow y'all out of here. Miss Betty Turner lives over on Lake Forest, and last August the 15th, she was working in her backyard. She heard something in her house that made her go inside. She goes in through her back bottom door, up the steps, and encounters a career burglar named Bernard Williams standing in her dining room. Mr. Williams asked her if she needed yard services. I don't recall how old Miss Turner was, but she was doing fine on her own. I don't think she needed Mr. Williams. Miss Turner noticed Mr. Williams holding a black portfolio that she became a little suspicious of. She said, "Stand right there," picks up her phone to call 911. Surprisingly, he didn't stand right there. He takes off out her door up Lake Forest. As she's on the phone, she looks over at, walks into her bedroom, looks over at the dresser, and realizes that her jewelry, family heirloom type jewelry, irreplaceable types. You can get a new flat screen. This stuff, virtually irreplaceable, right? So she, while still on the phone, takes off up Lake Forest after her, going uphill, the uphill part of Lake Forest. And then there's a street up here that starts with O. I can't remember the name.
Osner.
Yes, Osner. Gets up about that far. Sandy Springs says, "We think we got him." The guy takes a hat off, throws it on some shrubs, and they stop him. Lo and behold, he's holding a black portfolio with all of Betty Turner's jewelry in it. He goes to trial, and along with my trial partner, Miss Leecher Harris from the DA's office, we convinced the jury to convict Mr. Williams of that burglary. I don't recall how many he had, but I don't think I had enough fingers to count them all. And fortunately, the judge gave him 20 years to serve without possibility of parole. He was a career criminal. The reason is because the city of Sandy Springs is blessed with two great things. Number one, they're blessed with great leaders like Mr. Collins, Ms. Mines and McEnerny, Mayor Galambos. The elected officials in this city are terrific, and they're very supportive of us. The second thing y'all are blessed with is perhaps the best police department in Fulton. Detectives Frank Tramer and Shane Barkley and Jeff Thomas and everybody over there is terrific at what they do. And when I pick up a case from Sandy Springs, I know I'm probably not going to have to do a whole lot because they've already done it. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Todd.
We're going to work with these guys to do everything we can to make sure that your stuff stays in your house.
Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.
And now, in 5 minutes, you got an episode of Law and Order, so we'll have to watch that tonight. Let's open it up for questions. Karen, you can take that side of the room, and I'll take this.
I represent a neighborhood not far from here that's part in the city and part Sandy Springs. And we were very disturbed with the bolo that went out a couple of days ago about that very incident. We've had a number of smash and grabs, what we're calling them, where almost the setup is as frightening as the actual burglary, where they're driving up to the homes, or they're walking up the driveways and they're checking out the homes to see if someone's there. They're usually leaving or coming up with a silly excuse, like they did on that North Side Drive home that they hit before the Rebel Trail, asking if they wanted their lawn mowed in the rain. But what we're afraid of is that at some point these are really going to start escalating, and the woman that was hit in the face could easily turn into somebody with a knife that goes into the gut when you all of a sudden come upon somebody that you're not expecting. It started in the beginning of the summer where a home quite near here was hit when children were in the basement, and the people that knocked on the door, you know, on the first floor, the children in the basement playing didn't hear that somebody knocked on the door, so they thought they were entering a vacant home. And then when they went to go down the stairs to see if there was a flat screen TV, they ran into the children. They screamed, "Up, there's someone here." They ran out the door. In this case, he ran right into the woman. So what our neighbors are fearing is that there's going to be an escalation with these incidents, as there sometimes is when there's a modus operandi of people breaking into a home and fleeing quickly or fleeing when they hear somebody. It's going to keep going further and further, and our neighbors are really frightened that weapons are going to become part of these home invasions and these smash and grabs when they're shocked with meeting people. And they really don't know how to protect themselves. Or, you know, if they start happening in the night, or when people go to bed early, or they're napping during the day and they don't hear people coming in. So I think it's a real concern for our neighbors.
Well, I think it's, you see the district attorney here. What he didn't tell you is that the district attorney has restructured the way they prosecute burglary cases. They're no longer handled at a lower level. They're handled at the complex level any time that they come in. So the district attorney's office is really taking this seriously. The burglary task force. Now, we strategically placed a sergeant in the burglary task force when it started because we wanted to have a leadership position in there, and that sergeant could look at all of our cases and see which were the best ones to put in there. The lieutenant of that task force is an Atlanta lieutenant. And so we do have some things there. And there's another thing that's occurred that's to your benefit in Atlanta. You've got George Turner. Say what you will. I was here when the previous chief was there. I'm not bad-mouthing him at all. But I can tell you, George Turner is the real deal. He shows up at all the police chiefs' meetings. We talk about these problems. We talk about your problems. And we talk about how we interact with each other. We are all about partnerships because partnerships increase our operational capacity. It increases our ability to address your problems. And the mere fact that you're here says that you're interested in what we're doing. Absolutely. And we're going to take your concerns and share that with them. Sergeant Levy over here is the sergeant on that task force, and I guarantee you he's going to share your story with that lieutenant, and that the burglary task force is going to look at that. Overall, we talked about statistics earlier, but let me emphasize, overall, our burglaries since June to this day are down 5%. Believe it or not, over last year, we're actually down 5%.
I know they are, and they are in the city too, but the perception is not there.
Well, agreed. The perception's not there, and the reality is, and we don't hide from the reality, we confront the brutal facts. Our concern is that we've had a number of break-ins. We're going in the right direction, but our number of break-ins has started to go up in a short period of time in the last couple of weeks. I sent an email to Karen earlier. I'm not satisfied with status quo. And one of the council districts is almost status quo over last year. We want to see decreases in every district, in every area. And that's a lofty goal. But it takes a community like this, and your best defense is being informed and communicating. That's the best thing that you can do. And your being here is part of that.